are at the cat dealership to pick up our slightly used new cat. Slightly used. The engine is blown up and it's a bobcat, but you know, close enough. A lot of like this stuff here the customer hauled in, and you know, we just tried to help them out because you know this one needs an engine.
So someone brought this one in?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
A year ago last March.
Oh wow, it's been sitting here for a year?
And I told them we can't throw this any longer, we need to move this kind of thing. And, yeah. So finally, oh, it's a little wide.
Is it too wide? Uh-oh.
It moved a little bit, it's okay. Boy, is it? You think it won't tip right now?
I doubt it. I mean, all that heavy stuff is getting out.
Awesome. I won't put your face on there though. If you don't
Oh, I don't care, man. As long as you show me what's your YouTube channel so I can check this out.
All right, yeah.
That'd be sick.
Matt, you idiot, why did you buy another skid steer? You just rebuilt one like a month ago. What are you doing? This thing came up at auction a couple months ago, and I looked at it, and just based on like the 6 or 7 pictures that were on the listing, I could tell you exactly what the problem was right away, because it's the same problem on the other skid steer. So I looked at some numbers, I looked at some parts and what stuff costs, and I looked at the pictures of this thing, and you know, based on that, I threw in a number that was super low ball based on what I thought this thing was actually worth, and I ended up actually winning it. So I didn't really want to win it, but now it's mine, so I have to do something with it. That being said, I haven't actually looked at this thing in person up until right now. What did I pay for it? I'll tell you right now, I paid $8,000 for this thing, which I think is a pretty good deal. So this is a 2016 Bobcat T590. I know a lot of people aren't fans of Bobcat. I don't really have an opinion on them. I haven't never used one, but you know, I don't really have the choice. This thing was well taken care of, in my opinion. Well, I mean, I really haven't looked at it, but just based on the paint and how clean it is, it's just way nicer than anything that's ever been on this channel, that's for sure. I kind of talked to the yard manager there when they were loading it up, and the story I got was that someone brought it in to have them look at it, which is the Cat dealership, so I'm not sure why they brought a Bobcat in. And they looked at it and determined that the engine was bad. He wanted them to fix it, so I'm assuming that they would have told them that, you know, look at the sign where you're at right now, we don't fix Bobcats. So I think he bought another machine from them, and then he just left it there. There we go. And then they sold it on consignment for him. It's super clean. I'm not sure if they cleaned it or if he just kept it clean or what the deal is, but it's unnaturally clean for a piece of heavy equipment. Like, you look in the nooks and crannies here, there's just no dirt anywhere on this thing. Now, undercarriage is, you know, decent. So anyways, engine. So just looking at the picture, and this is the kind of what the picture I saw. So you can see that the starter's loose, the oil filter is missing. So obviously it's been locked up. They pulled the starter to, you know, bar it over to see if it'll turn. They pulled the oil filter and probably cut it open to look for chunks. Most likely they found chunks. And then they just told them that the engine was bad. There's I see a little bit of dirt down there, but you know, it's just crazy how nice this thing is everywhere. $8,000 for this. All right, we got some stuff in here. That's the auction paperwork. The seat's a little bit dirty. Ooh. It's mine. What's this? Oh, that's the oil filter. Man, that's actually really cool of them to do that, just to save that. They probably showed it to them and then they just left it with the machine. This machine did have an option for joystick controls. It does have an option for high flow aux, which this one does not have that. It does have an option for an enclosed cab. I saw this up here. The top's enclosed, and then you could easily put like a glass panel on the side, like there's mounting holes and everything, and then you could put a door in the front. So I think this is really a stripped down, like no option machine, which is fine. It also came with a bucket, which I had to take off to you know, load it in that dump trailer. But this bucket's in great condition. The cutting edge is really good. It's not bent or anything. It's super straight. So I mean, this bucket's probably worth at least $1,000. It's not quite a 6-foot bucket. It's like a 67-inch or something like that. Not super big, but I think the width just covers the tracks. So anyway, back to the engine here. I don't know exactly what engine this is. We'll figure that out. I looked on Bobcat's site though. Let's say that this core is rebuildable, which maybe not. If it is, then you're out like, let's say worst case $2,000 for a rebuild kit, maybe $1,000 for machining, right? Well, then you have a compact track loader that's this nice for $11,000. Worst case scenario, block's bad. A new block from the Bobcat website, $7,000. So you have 7 plus another, you know, 2 for parts. You're still well ahead of what this machine is worth. You could also buy a remanufactured long block off from Bobcat. I think that was, I want to say $14,000. Brand new, fully assembled engine, $20,000. Well, it's late fall now. This thing's been sitting for a few months. I did have to gently pull it back a little bit. Charlie's here with her ball to help. This is gonna be a nice setup, so I'm gonna pull the engine here. Anytime I need a tool, I only have to walk about 100 feet to the tool bench inside of there. Pretty ideal. I've had a tarp sitting over this for the last few months just to keep it nice And I noticed it slightly wore the paint away and it's green. So I think this was originally a Sunbelt Rentals machine. Someone clearly spent a lot of money on having it repainted. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it's a nice paint job. Done very well. And the other thing, how do you open this again? I don't know if I mentioned this before, but when Cat was diagnosing it, I'm pretty sure this was them, they pulled the belt off of the pump. There's a pulley right here. So they had verified that the pump wasn't seized, which is another thing you would have want to check on here. So. Okay, well, it looks like this thing goes up underneath the radiator. So the radiator can stay in, I think. Oh, it's already loose. Nice. There's supposed to be a tie down for this. There's nothing in here. Yeah, you can definitely see the green in here where it was a Sunbelt machine. What's all this wiring do? All right, let's drain the coolant out. What's going on here? This is the coolant hose. Nothing's coming out though. And no one wrote the date on here. Uh-oh, mouse nest? It's not a mouse nest?
No, it looked like one.
False alarm. Ooh. Sensors in there. Where's all the coolant? We might have a overheating situation here. This tank right here is the coolant tank, I believe, right? Or the overflow. And I do believe there's stuff in there. Do we have a blockage in the radiator? Or maybe it just drained. I don't know what happened. This is weird. All right, well, we got our first clue here. We got no coolant in the engine. They might have drained it. Maybe Cat drained it. Why would they have done that, though? What?
What's your bag right there?
Just covering that up. Ooh, this thing is soaking wet. It's probably not good to have that wet.
What is this?
Yeah, there we go. Why is everything a different size fastener? Oops. How many connectors does a guy? And they're all like a different style of connector. Like each one has a different way of disconnecting itself. Great. I don't think I plan on keeping this machine, so it'd be nice to kind of just have it look stock when it's back together instead of all hacked up. So try to keep track of all these, how these connectors are routed, which is mostly why I'm filming this right now. Injector control. These injector connectors really want to be broken, I'm gonna tell you. They really want to be, they're really delicate. I'm trying to take my time with them. It'd be a bummer to break one of those. Should probably remove this. This is the water pump hose, looks like. Nope, something in there. Looks like it's just water. Probably should try to avoid getting this in the engine down here. This is the oil filter. Yeah, it's getting in. It's not ideal. Interesting. There's something weird going on here with the cooling. Got a really bad feeling that the engine and the hydraulic pump are like in the same mounting bracket to hold it all together, and that they all have to come out together. I really hope that's not the case, but it's not Looks a little bit worrisome. Now, you have to take this thing off, don't you? All this stuff's hand tight. Okay, note for future mat. This tan one goes on top, and this blue one goes down below. Every fastener is a different size. It's amazing. 12, 13, 14s, 11s. Is this thing, it's a giant plastic fuel tank that's underneath the engine. It goes, I don't know if you can see this, it goes all the way over here. I just realized that. Someone's cut this breather line before and spliced it, it looks like. There we go. Okay, I think we're mostly good on this side. It looks like we're probably gonna have to lift the cab up though to get, there's gonna be one more mounting bolt probably on the other side. By the way, it also would have been way smarter to, this engine harness here, it just disconnect it here at the ECU, and then I think this can just go with the engine, which would make a lot more sense. It doesn't really matter, it has to come off anyways, but so the bad news is that the pump, which is right there, is in a frame with the engine and they have to come out together. So obviously I'm gonna have to remove all these lines and various other things that are connected to the pump. I'm gonna have to drain the hydraulic fluid. Anyway, that's fine. I mean, the good news, I guess, is that this is actually way more accessible than on the cat skid steer that I did. This is all really easy stuff. And there's just a few steps to do it. It's just gonna be a pain. By the way, there is a little safety latch right there to keep this cab from falling on your head. There's also about an inch of water in here. I need to find the drain. Not sure why they went with this chintzy plastic cover. I think you're just supposed to use this flexible line that goes to the hydraulic fan, or the fan motor is the drain. Ugh. Guess we'll just give this about 6 years to drain. The tank's really not that big. It's this little plastic one up here. It looks like it's about 3 gallons or something, or maybe less. All right, next day here. Looks like we got about 2 gallons drained out. All right, well, I was pawing through the manual last night and I found out that this here is the oil cooler. So this should be a coolant line. I'm gonna take this off and see if there's any coolant in it though. Could do with new hoses, that's for sure. So, okay, well, more water, no antifreeze, but at least there's water in it, or coolant. I'm glad I'm doing this before it freezes in the winter, because this would have been bad for the block. All right, well, since we're following the manual wants you to take this plastic thing out. I think this is part of the fan, they call it the fan ducting. Yeah. That's better. Now this screen over here is metal. So I'm not sure why the other one's plastic. Either way though, we're missing the original fastener over here. So I'm gonna put a nut on the other side of this. Really sloppy. This is kind of split around these grommets. Well, I can't get that last panel out without taking a bunch of hoses off, or just one hose at least, but I don't want to do it. I can move around it. I think I can work around it, so we'll just continue on. By the way, I just want to point out this. You see this? This is every fastener into the frame on this machine. There's not a single captive nut anywhere that's welded in. I I hate to complain too much, and this may be just a me thing, but this really annoys me. I mean, how much more money does it cost to weld a nut on there so that you don't strip out the frame? I mean, this is only 3/16. There's like 2 threads max in each one of these holes, and I've already found a bunch where they're really borderline on stripping out. All right, well, they want you to mark where these brackets are, which makes sense. I think these are the steering brackets. So I'll just mark these with a razor blade in a couple spots. Nope, there goes that. That's much better. All right, so this is a 1 1/4. So that makes these ORFS-12. So I think we'll grab the caps for that. Get my cap and plug ready here. I really hope these are ORFS. These appear to be JIC. That's okay, I got JIC plugs. Oh, there goes that one. Let's see. Not a lot of fluid coming out, so it's not an emergency. This is probably where it pays to drain the hydraulic tank first. Get the next one. Can you see that? So we just got it plugged here. I'm just going to continue on with these, all 4 of these. It's getting a little tight in here, so I'll just show you what the plan is. So obviously I got those 4 hoses off. The next hoses you have to do are, let me get in here. Oh my gosh, my knees are. Okay, so they want you to remove this right here. This is, I believe this is the drain hose for the motor or for the pump. And then this is the supply suction hose. They want you to remove that. And then you also need to remove this hose right here from this metal piece, and then the hose right here going into that. So 1, 2, 3 hoses. They also say you should need to remove this one, but this is just going to one of the motors. I think there's a mistake, or they want you to remove a different hose. Oh, and then also this guy, it goes down into there. They want you to remove that one. So let me get all those hoses off, and then I think we're done on this side after I do that. Okay, been a few minutes. I got all that stuff disconnected. Also, this line right here that goes to the fan motor, that's connected directly to the back side of the pump, which when I was looking around. So that needs to be disconnected. And then there was a couple wires they're mentioning. I disconnected, like there's like a fuel sender. I disconnected that, but I don't see anything else that's going to be a problem with the wiring. I guess we'll find out when we start pulling it. So this is, I don't know how this seems. It's really not that bad. I mean, this is probably 3 hours of labor right now to get to this point, and I don't even know what I'm doing. If you know what you're doing, you probably do it a lot faster. And over here on this side, all this stuff is disconnected and quite a ways away from the engine, so I don't see any problems here. The top, it's like what's this stuff? Where does that go? I'll double check like that line right there. It looks a little bit suspicious. Yeah, I think we're pretty much good here. So I think it's just 3 mounts, one here, here, and then on the other side. It's ready to go. Okay, so we got our 2 grab points here and here. That one is way underneath this frame, which you can't remove. I think we're gonna have to chain it and then get like a forklift right in here without wrecking anything. It's gonna be a little bit difficult. And then the path back to the barn has a huge dip in the right past where Charlie is. This is gonna be heavy. I think this is gonna be probably, I want to say 600 pounds. I mean, the engine's probably 5, and then the pump. So it's gonna be a little bit heavier than you'd think. You got all this plastic stuff on top. Just kind of hide this stuff. It's me swinging all over the place, breaking stuff. We got a drain hose right there. Where's this going? Didn't even see that. Get that out, that'd be nice. I had the camera off, but I just took my foot and I pushed right there and it went around that mount and then it popped out pretty good. And now the forks are hitting up there. So I think we're good to back this thing out a little bit. That's a problem. Uh-oh. I see another pipe I missed. Hold on a second. Let's try now. No, get back, get way back. That way. There's another coolant hose back here. Dang it. There it is. Is that it? I think that's it. I think that's everything. wasn't that bad. Getting it back in is going to be difficult though, because you got to feed a lot of those hoses through stuff. And there was, which hoses did I forget? I think this one, that hydraulic hose, and one other one. Oh, I think the one that went on there, I forgot. They were stretching out kind of bad there. Those are coolant hoses. I'd replace those anyways, so I'm not really too worried about that. Looking good in here. Really not that dirty of a machine. There is a bunch of water standing in there that I can't get rid of just because of the angle this thing's sitting at. I guess I can shop vac it out. Not too much oil spilled in here. Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of space in here. Way more than the Cat, that's for sure. But I guess with the bigger engine and all that, it makes sense. And I'll definitely give this a nice pressure washing before we put the engine back in. But for the most part, it's really not bad in here at all. This machine, I think, was pretty well taken care of. These are 12-point fasteners. I don't really have much 12-point. This is the only one I could find. So this is probably gonna break apart, but let's give it a shot. Nope. Oh good, I don't have to press this off. Nice and easy. Nice. Should get a plan here on how we're gonna lift this. Oh, this might work. I guess close enough. We got this down here. Uh-huh. There's actually some really good price spots on there. Give me a little spot to hit with. What is that? Is that a weld repair on the block? Moving? Am I still attached to other spots? Probably should have checked that, huh? Oh, wait. There's 2 bolts up here. I should know better by now. Oh! Kind of figured that might happen. Just don't want this pump to fall on the ground. Wouldn't be ideal. There we go. Grab those. Free. Bad timing, Doc. Ooh. Hey, while we're here, maybe we should make sure it's actually still frozen. Maybe we got lucky and it unfroze itself. Oh, I think I just tightened the bolt a little bit. Still frozen. By the way, this is a Bobcat D24 NAP, which I looked up, it's made by Doosan. So that's gonna be the engine manufacturer. This, I mentioned a weld repair. This is what I'm talking about right here. So that is concerning enough, but let me show you what I found on the other side real quick. Right over here. That, my friends, appears to be JB Weld on this side of the block. So the good news is that there's probably a new number 4 rod in there. But you know, that's not ideal. You know, JB welding a block, I get it. I've been there before. You know, sometimes it makes sense on, you know, grandpa's tractor, but this is something that's going into like at the time, probably $30,000 plus machine. And this is what you're putting into it. So I think the most likely thing that would happen here is someone bought this at auction or whatever from Sunbelt with a bad motor. They took the motor out and had it rebuilt. Whoever they had do the rebuilding, you know, little bit questionable maybe. And then this is the result. By the way, let's check out this filter. See if we find anything. This is the important part. Oh yeah, lots of metal flakes in here. Yeah, lots of metal chunkage in this filter. Well, some of it, it looks like they used tin snips to cut open, not like an angle grinder. So this is not from cutting it open. I think this is actual metal from the engine. Okay, well, there you go. All right, well, that was kind of a bombshell to end the video on, but this is a good spot to end it because it's gone on long enough. In the next video, we're obviously going to be taking this engine all the way apart and finding out exactly what went wrong with it. Post your predictions in the comments, so I'd be curious to see what other people have to think. This could be a red herring right here. I mean, it could actually be a water pump or a cooling issue and overheated. But yeah, we'll find out for sure, but let me know what you think happened. One other thing I forgot to mention, I'll probably throw it up as text early on, but the machine only had 2,100 hours. Pretty low hour machine, especially for this kind of stuff. I mean, this is going to be its third engine rebuild in 2,000 hours, which is a little bit crazy. The other thing to mention is since this is a computer controlled common rail injection and all that, we're not going to be able to run it on the run stand after it's rebuilt. So we're going to have to bring our A game when we rebuild this thing because we don't want to pull it back out of the machine to fix an oil leak or something, you know, like for instance on that Yanmar rebuild that I did recently where I put a new oil pump in it, but it was running at the wrong pressure and blowing stuff out. So we're going to have to be very careful on this. I really do not want to pull this machine out again. It really wasn't that bad to pull it out. I mean, I don't think I got a single cut on my hands taking that out, which is pretty good for a skid steer job, but you know, it's not a lot of fun. Oh, also big shout out to Luis for helping with the unload. Some random guy I hired off Facebook because my normal guy wasn't around, and he really put in the effort to help me out. It was not an easy job for either of us. Also, I'm sure someone's gonna make the comment about unloading it that you can just disconnect the hydraulic hoses from the motors and it'll freewheel. That is absolutely not true. These hydraulic motors, and I think all modern skid steer motors, use a spring applied pressure braking system. So basically if there's no pressure, the spring is applied and they're locked solid. You have to apply hydraulic pressure to release the spring and so that they'll move. I think that's important to mention because if you go and actually buy a broken skid steer, you need to have a plan for loading and unloading it. It's either going to be lifting it or dragging it. And if you're dragging it, it's going to take a lot of force. Like I have to use my dozer to do it. This is the second time I've done it. Just something to think about. It's really, really hard to make these things freewheel without disassembling a lot of stuff. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll see you for the next one when we take this thing apart.